Let's see if this changes the service and the connection. I went from LTE to Wi-Fi. Hopefully this changes it. All right. Okay, so I'm back on. I had bad reception on my LTE and I got back on the Wi-Fi. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, I won't get back on it tonight. We'll do it another time. Imran, how are you, buddy? Joey Cortez, perfect. People are back. Peter, Nagib, hello again. Normally I'll start, the Sunday night mentions at around 10 o'clock my time, which is Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern. But tonight we started a little later. Had my buddy Tom over, and we were speaking a little bit longer than usual about some strategies that's going to be taking place this week, which was quite exciting. But let's get right into it. So the debate. LeBron James, I have a lot of friends. I am not a LeBron James fan, for those of you guys that know. So whatever I say now is not coming from somebody that is a LeBron James fan. So I know we got a lot of people that are getting on, and then I'll do some questions here tonight for entrepreneurship like I do every Sunday night. And then we'll go from there. And I know many of you guys who have been purchasing the Life of an Entrepreneur book that just came out last week. I've gotten so many emails of people that have bought 10 copies and 20 copies and giving it away. People posting reviews on Amazon. If you haven't bought it, we'll talk about a little bit about this as well. I'll post the link over there for people to purchase the book. But let's talk about LeBron James. Is he the greatest player of all time? Here's what I will tell you. As a person that is not a LeBron James fan. So many times when people give their opinion about a player or somebody, they will typically be a little bit biased. And they'll say, well, he's the greatest of all time. So I am a Laker fan. So if I'm a Laker fan, and what does this have to do with anything, Pat? We're here to learn about entrepreneurship. And why are we talking about sportsmanship? And what does this have to do with anything, with business and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta? Well, we'll get into it, and I'll explain to you what it is. But let me get right into it on my argument from somebody who is not a LeBron James fan. Keep that part in mind. Okay, so I grew up in L.A. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. I grew up in an era when I was a Lakers fan, and I first came to America in 1990. That was the first time when MJ, remember the whole layup he made over Sam Perkins? He said Sam was trying to block the shot. Sam couldn't block his own shot. If he tried, the guy had a vertical leap of 6 inches. But anyways, so I watched Jordan just beat up everybody. And one of the things I respect the most is people who, first of all, you're going to get a lot of criticism. He's this, he's that, he's that, he's this, he's that. You're going to get so much of that heat. It's so much pressure, and then you're alone by yourself. No one knows, even when your wife, your family, your kids, everybody tells you, it's okay, I love you. It doesn't matter. You still haven't redeemed yourself. You still haven't had the experience of redemption for yourself, and it doesn't matter to anybody else but the man in the mirror. You can lie to everybody. You can fool the media that it doesn't mean anything to me and it's got no value. But I think what LeBron James solidified tonight, that he is officially, in my opinion, he's officially the second greatest player of all time in the history of the NBA. My opinion, this is what I'm saying. I could be absolutely wrong. I'm not an analyst. I'm simply a person who processes certain things. And I can tell you why I'm saying he's the second greatest basketball player of all time. First of all, historically speaking, he doesn't have the killer instinct of MJ or Kobe. He does not have that killer instinct. He doesn't have it. Why does he not have it? He happens to be 6'8", 260, 250, which is a God-given body that's just absolutely pathetically insane, where you can jump 40 inches and all this other stuff. It's crazy to have his physique, his body that he's got. So the game comes a lot easier to him than it does to Kobe. Kobe had to work twice as hard as LeBron to become a competitor because Kobe didn't have the typical, physical impediments that he had. And then MJ jumped 48 inches, whatever his vertical leap was, and he had his mitts that he had, and he went to 6 championships, won all 6. He scored 32,000 points in 13 seasons and came back at 40 and scored 55 points or 52 points against the Knicks. And no one is even going to get close to Michael Jordan. I wasn't an MJ fan when I was a Laker fan growing up, and MJ was doing what he was doing. But I highly, 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 highly respect those who go above and beyond, even when they're getting heat to do what they're doing. This guy absolutely is now solidified as the second greatest basketball player of all time. And let me tell you what my point is with this. You know, when we were, Tom came and we had a chance to watch the fourth quarter together, he said, man, do you see LeBron James' beard? It's gray. I don't know if you guys paid attention. His beard is gray. It's like totally gray. And I said, wow, what a thing to say, because beard is gray. Who cares if his beard is gray? But that's a sign of a lot of pressure and a lot of people who have put a lot of media. Can you imagine all day long everybody's talking about how you're choking, you're doing this, you're doing that. So you see his beard. I don't know if anybody saw the beard, right? You see all the beard that he has. That's great. One of the things that I 100% believe in, I was in Chicago this past week with a group of MSM, Money Smart Movement guys, with Matt Sapala and Sheena Sapala. Just had a great time with that group. And we talked about a lot of things. And one of the things I said at the end, I said, I do believe, in my mind, I've convinced myself that there is such thing as the gods of success. You know, the Greek mythology, they had the god of sun, the god of love, the god of this, the god of all this other gods. I believe there's such thing as the gods of success. Now, before you think I'm crazy, hang tight, let me explain to you what I mean by this. I do believe there's a group of people above that watch you and see how much of an effort you put, even after you already won, and you are still improving, you are still coachable, you're still willing to learn, you're still working hard, you're still showing up, you're still wanting to get better, you're still on Sunday night or preparing for your week. You still are doing all of those things, everything, even after you had a couple victories. Then you know what they do? They start sprinkling some luck and some favor towards your side. That's all they do. And the next thing you know, crazy things happen, such as what? Such as coming back from 3-1 to win a championship. That's never happened before in the history of the NBA. And you bring a championship to a city that hasn't seen one, Cleveland, for 50 plus years, and they're going to have their welcome back party of Cleveland. It's going to be the most epic party that any city's ever put together for a single team ever, because it's not just going to be about the basketball fans. It's going to be the football fans, the Indians fans, the Browns fans. It's going to be every single person that has anything to do with any kind of sport and history is going to be there. And it's going to be a very emotional moment, very, very emotional moment is what it's going to be. So what LeBron was able to do, one day you and I are going to watch a movie of LeBron James, and we're going to watch the movie of this comeback that he made when they came back and watched 3-1. And we had a chance to witness it. So it's great. As a fan myself, of a competitor myself, that I love watching anything with competition, I just want to say, man, LeBron James, he gets all the props in the world for what he did. Triple-double in Game 7. Only two other people have done it, Worthy and Jerry West. And, James Worthy is a person who's a friend. I've had a chance to spend many, many times with Worthy before, and had a chance to interview James Worthy. Just the stuff he was talking about was insane. And then Jerry West, who happens to be the logo of the NBA, LBJ's past Kobe and past everybody else. There's only one person he will never pass. Statistically, he will pass him, but he will never, ever, ever pass MJ. But I have to say, we did a draft the other day. Well, you can say how this draft sounds. So we went 10 people, and I said, you pick your first, then we go from draft pick. Put your starting 5 to get in the NBA, okay? So Chicago, I said, you get to go first. So I give them round 1, first pick. Obviously, they're going to pick who? MJ. They said, who do you pick first? I said, I'm picking LeBron. So you're not picking Kobe? No way. I'm picking LeBron. Second, who are you picking? They pick Kareem. I picked Shaq. Third pick, who are you going to pick? They pick Bird. I picked up Hakeem Olajuwon. They said fourth pick, who are they going to pick? They picked up fourth pick. Theirs was Hakeem. They picked up, who did they pick up fourth? I'm trying to think who they picked up. Duncan. I picked up Kobe. Fifth pick, they picked up, I don't know who they picked up fifth. And I picked up Kevin Durant. That's my shooter, because it had to be they picked up Magic Johnson. And that's the starting 5. LeBron's my pick. And I'm not a LeBron James fan. But I am so ecstatic that history favors players like LeBron James. You have no idea how much I love the fact that history favors people like LeBron James to win. When he won, I was so emotional and excited for this guy. Very similar to Leonardo DiCaprio when he won it. I was so excited for him, and I'm so excited for this guy. And I'm not even financially involved. I run a financial firm and I do a whole different thing. But Very, very impressed with LeBron James. All the Cleveland Cavaliers fan. You know, as a fan myself of the Lakers, who had the worst season of their careers, and as a fan that's witnessed them win 5 championships in the last 20 years, you got to enjoy it when it does happen. And you grew up in that city. I grew up watching Laker games with my dad, and my dad's now 74 years old. So when Kobe retired, it was an emotional connection that I have with my dad and Kobe. So I understand Cavs fans who follow LeBron James, what that means to you. So with that being said, it means nothing to entrepreneurs, just the fact that if you give everything you got and nobody sees it, I guarantee you all of a sudden the floodgates of success, sales, money is going to open up for you. But if you only work when everybody else sees it, the gods of success are watching you, and they ain't gonna give you what you want. So we got Scott Mudrack there, right? That's right, Magic Johnson, buddy Scott. Man, that was the guy. Scott was the one that he's the one that put the team together with the help of some other guys. And Scott's a Chicago guy, so and Scott's also, you know, a Pullet guy, and it's an inside joke with Scott and I. We'll keep that between us. Okay. So, gang, I'm going to give you some time. You give me good questions, I'll stay with you for some time. If the questions are just basic questions, we'll send it up and go from there. So if you got any questions, post your questions tonight. Ask me anything that has to do with business and entrepreneurship. We'll cover it tonight, and we'll go from there. So if you got any questions about Q&A, business, all that stuff, put it up. How about some Kyrie Irving, love for Kyrie Irving? Oh, 100%, man. He gets love. That shot, we're going to see 30 years from now. He gets a lot of love. Okay, how did you organize yourself? Stephen, what a great question. John Mason, what's up, John Mason? If you don't follow John Mason, follow that cat. He's a bachelor that if I had a sister that was single, I'd hook him up with John Mason. Anyways, that was a shout out to my buddy John Mason. So how do I organize myself? Okay, great question. Let me give you guys some inside scoop on organizing yourself with your business as an entrepreneur. My wife said something to me 3 months ago. April, 3 months ago, my wife said this to me. She said, you know what's weird about you? I said, babe, you know, because this whole thing came up with organization and what personality type you are. She said, Pat, you are the most organized person I know. You expect everything to be organized, except you don't want to do it. You want to pay somebody to organize everything in your life. And I sat there and I said, you know what? What an observation. If somebody's going to make an observation of you, it's probably going to be someone that close to you. And I said, you know, I never thought about it that way. She says, babe, you expect everything to be organized, but you're not an organized person. See, I don't have once I realized the value of paying somebody for support and leverage, once I realized what leverage meant as a business owner, that you don't have to do it all yourself, that's when I started hiring staff left and right. I remember I was making $100,000 a year income, and I was making $30,000 a year income. I already had an assistant. People were like, why is this guy got an assistant at $30,000 a year income? Then I made $100,000. I had 2 assistants. Then I made $250,000. I had 3 assistants. Then I had 4 assistants, 5 assistants. People were like, why is this guy got so much support? I just started hiring everything. I love shining my shoes. I love ironing clothes. These are strange things. I was in the military, so I love shining shoes. I love shining shoes. I love ironing clothes. I literally love to iron clothes. How sick is that to say I literally love to iron clothes? But, you know, somebody who irons clothes makes $10 an hour, and somebody who shines shoes makes $10 an hour. And I had a mentor of mine that kicked my butt a little bit when I was 21, 22 years old. And he says, why are you doing $10 an hour job? Do you want to make $10 an hour? I says, no. It says, pay somebody to do that. You don't need to do that. And when I stopped doing it, I stopped doing it completely. So my clothes, I wasn't ironing anymore. My shoes, I wasn't polishing anymore. My car, I wasn't doing the oil change anymore. Everything became about a support system. In every aspect of my life became a support system. So today, I run a financial firm that's grown aggressively across the country with 38 states now. I think we're at 42 states now. The only states we're not in is just some of the smaller states that we're not in. And we've grown because we have the most ridiculous support team from Amor to Alexis to Tom to Moral to any one of the names that I'll say. They're all organized people. Every one of them are organized people tenfold on how organized I am. They are absolutely organized with everything. So when you ask a question like that on how I do it, I would explain that to you about organizational. For some of you guys are like, I'm just not an organized type of person. It's the lamest excuse you're making. Go find somebody to help you be organized and be willing to pay that money to them for you to be willing to get organized. Because if you don't, you're going to get crushed in the world of business by somebody who's willing to do that. Shaid, what is the most important tool for a salesperson in your opinion? And also, do you think phone calls or cold calls are an important way to prospect new clients nowadays? Okay, Shaid, great questions. And you asked me sales a lot lately, so that tells me that sales is on your mind because I've been pushing you and challenging you privately to pay more attention to the sales side. So I applaud you to be very diligent about that area. So your first question was, what is the most important tool for a salesperson? Not business cards. If you come and meet me 9 out of 10, you know how people used to say, a person who does not have a business card, you are not a real salesperson or businessman. I don't ever have a business card, ever have a business card, never. I could tell you the last 100 times people ask me if I have a business card, my answer has been no, I don't have a business card. Why? Because that's the tool of the 80s. It's not the tool of today's. Today's tool is this. I take out my phone, I say, are you on LinkedIn? Yes, that's the tool. Today's business card is LinkedIn. Facebook is for people to just kind of see part of your personal life. LinkedIn is your business card. Okay. Some of you guys are big on LinkedIn. Some of you guys are not. LinkedIn is something I just got to create, make sure it's clean, make sure it's polished, and let it do its thing. And you don't post pictures of I was at the bar or doing all this other nonsense. You don't do that on LinkedIn. Your picture on LinkedIn's got to be a nice business picture on LinkedIn. Facebook fan page is a different thing that you create. If you have an online presence and a platform, then that's that. And then you have your personal page on Facebook, then you have Twitter and all the other things. The number one tool for me is phones. There isn't a single tool for me that's bigger than anything else in sales than phones. This past week I was in Chicago and I talked to a couple hundred entrepreneurs in Chicago. They're all in sales as well. And I said, the most important skill set anybody can master as an entrepreneur, the most important skill set is making phone calls. The most important skill set is making phone calls. The most important skill set is making phone calls. From there is learning how to sell through people, learning how to find your ideal client through people. Let me explain to you what it means. So for instance, a lot of times people sell to somebody who may not be a qualified client for you, and then they don't sell through them. So they stop right there at selling them. And so they don't ask for referrals. And if they do ask for referrals, they don't ask referrals the proper way. The way they ask for referrals is so nonsense and pathetic. No wonder they don't get referrals the proper way. Let me explain to you what I mean by referrals. This is actually not a bad idea to create an episode on Valuetainment about referrals. So here's the thing about referrals. Let me explain to you one thing about referrals. So Shahid, let's just say, I'm just going to use anybody's example. Men typically are clueless about what they look for in women, right? They just kind of want 36, 24, 36 and nice lips. It's just so shallow. And when I say men, I'm a part of it, okay? So I'm not trying to sit here and bash men. I was a part of that mindset, okay? As long as she's got a, boom, 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 I'm good, right? Okay, that's how salespeople treat clients sometimes. First of all, as a person selling a product, you have to sit down by yourself and identify what is an ideal client for you, okay? What is an ideal client for you? What is the picture perfect client that you want for yourself? What does that person look like? Do they have a certain degree? Does a degree matter? What is their income level? Where do they live? What job do they have? Are they married? Are they single? What is their age? Are they in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s? Are they divorced? Are they having an attorney? Do they not have an attorney? Who does your perfect client talk to? Do they typically have an attorney? They need to get into relationship, getting close to attorneys, and through the attorneys, giving them good relationships so they reintroduce their clients to you. Is it CPAs that you need to get connected with? Who is it? So you identify who your client is. Then you identify who has access to most of those clients. Then you identify where those clients spend the most time with, which website, which online, which platform, which restaurant, which city, which party, which gathering, which whatever. Then you got to be there. But regardless of what you do, once you know, men are, if you know, I need a girl that's this, I need a girl that's that, I need a girl that's this, or I'm looking for a man that has this, has that, has this. I knew a girl that worked for me and she said, I want to marry a man that has a 4-year degree. No problem. Her husband ended up getting a 4-year degree and he didn't have it at the time. Why? Because that was her expectation. Her expectation was a 4-year degree. It happened. And I told her one night, we're sitting at the office late, And I said, well, then why are you compromising your expectations? She says, I don't know why I am. And she eventually, made certain decisions, postponed the wedding, and a year and a half later, everybody hated her for postponing a wedding. But guess what happened? A year and a half later, they got married. He's got a degree. Everything is good. They're making great money. They own a piece of a company. They're doing great things for themselves. They're happy. She's a leader. He's a leader. 180 in their life. Both of them are total leaders. Both of them. What happened? You expected what you want and you got it. The same thing goes with your client. So Shahid, get a paper and pen out and write down exactly what your ideal client looks like, where you're going to find them, who knows them, who has access to them, and figure out a way to get yourself there. I can talk about sales all day long. I can talk about sales for 2 weeks, and I can constantly get into the science behind sales and all this other stuff. But that just kind of answers that question that you asked me there. Okay. Advertising has been difficult. How can I succeed in getting more clients? Give me a little bit more info than just saying something like that. I need a little bit more info than that. MCDJ Pro. How do you balance between personal and financial business life? I'm going through a very rough personal life and not able to concentrate on professional life. Help me out. Rahan, that's a great question, man. I did a video that I recommend you watch, and the video was called how to get married and who to marry. Okay, how to marry and who to marry. And I don't know if you're married yet or not. If you are, you got to find a way to make it work. If you're not, I highly recommend you watching this video, because succeeding in business has a lot to do with having the right support team. Look at LeBron. Stephen A. Smith said something very interesting about Stephen Curry's wife, Steph Curry's wife, and LeBron's wife. He says, look at LeBron is the most criticized athlete in the world. And you've never once heard his wife bitch or complain about any call, criticism, anything. Not one time. And Steph Curry's wife goes out there and she says, this whole thing is rigged, it's fixed. I said, now let's just say it is fixed. She does that, right? I like Curry. I'm more on the Curry side. I'm more of a Golden State side. I'm not a Golden State fan at all. I'm a Lakers fan. But he's absolutely right. You got to have the right person you got to marry. You got to marry the right person. You got to have the right support system at the house. You do. If you don't have the right support system at the house, it's going to screw up. And so a lot of times you can't, because there's 3 ways people do it. They fight, they flight, they freeze, right? Freeze is what? You don't do anything about it. Flight is, this is not going to work out, I'm going to run. And fight is you fight. The best thing out of those 3, by the way, flight, freeze, fight, is fight. Why is fight the best thing? Because at least you're expressing yourself. Now, if you can avoid fight and just have a real amicable conversation, that's a better thing to do. But you need to sit down and have a conversation about that. I don't know if it's your wife, if it's your family, if it's your parents, if it's your brother, if it's your sister, whatever it is. Some of the relationship I'd have to not get married. Well, then, watch the video, 15 things you should know before dating an entrepreneur, and have her watch that video yourself, and that'll help you out. If you send me a private message, I'll let you know which video it is. Alexander Zimmerlov, well, that probably means they don't see the value. Good point there. Okay, I don't know who he's responding to. Chris, do I need to read books to become a successful entrepreneur? Do I need to read books to become a successful entrepreneur? Gary Vaynerchuk constantly says I don't read books. Because I'm a self-made guy and I didn't really have a mentor. He gives a lot of credit to his family and his parents. And this conversation came up the other day by somebody at the home office that brought up and saying, what do you think about what Gary said? I was watching a video by Gary, and he said, actually, no, it was Matt Sapala that brought this up. And it was just Chicago. 2 days ago, we were having lunch and he brought this up. There are people that succeed without reading books. Because sales or any of that other stuff. But there was an example that they had that they saw. To me, the reason why I read books is, would I be the same person I am today if I didn't read books? Guaranteed I would not be. 100% I would not be. Reading books elevated my mind. Reading books made me sharp. Reading books made my strategy sharper. Reading books got me to be inspired. Reading books gave me more tips on what things some people did that I can do to improve myself as well. Reading books did a lot to me, a lot to me. So I'm a major advocate of everybody reading books. Everybody reading books. I mean, I just wrote my 3rd book and published it, called The Life of an Entrepreneur, 90 pages. If you haven't read it yet, pick up a copy. A lot of people said, Pat, I want to have a mentoring call with you. Can you do a mentoring call with me? I announced the contest last Tuesday, I think, And you have to do 4 things. You have to buy 10 copies of this book, go on Amazon and post a review after you finish the book. And then 3 was email the proof that you post a review and bought the copy to marketing@patrickbetdavid.com. And then next Sunday at this time, I do a raffle and I announce who the winners are, and I do personal mentoring call with 2 people, and I announce them next Sunday. So it could be anybody. So if you haven't bought the book yet, go buy the book. And if you're not going to buy the 10 copies, go buy a book for yourself and find out what is the life of an entrepreneur. The most important chapter in this book, there's a couple of them that I love. Validation is an important one to me. Drifting or driving the truth. Chapter 1 to me is a very important one. I'm an advocate of reading all day long. So I highly, highly recommend it. Anybody, it'll give you an edge over your peers. Do you really buy that Ferrari earning money from nothing? I don't get what that means. Do you really buy that Ferrari earning money from nothing? Maybe I don't understand your question. I did buy that Ferrari. I've driven it, I don't know how many times in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, I did buy the Ferrari. Matter of fact, let me show you something. I had to take it to the shop last week. And when I took it to the shop, here's the Ferrari that I had to take it to the shop last week. And so, yeah, I had to take it to the shop last week to get a few things to be worked on the Ferrari. I did buy the Ferrari. I don't know what your question was, though. If you're learning, you're going, okay, I'm in sales and advertising, working for a radio broadcast company. I want to be successful in getting more clients, as many clients as possible. Okay, how would you best more effective clients? Looking for a radio broadcast company. I want to be successful, more clients, as more possible. It's the same thing I talked about earlier in CDJ. It's just put yourself in a position of the clients that are there. And I mean, I still don't get it. I want you to do until you don't read books, you won't be successful. I think Ty's got a very good point about reading, Jeffrey. I mean, did you buy that earning money from nothing? I run a financial firm, and I earn money running a financial firm. I don't earn money doing videos on Valuetainment and doing Facebook mentions. No one's paying me right now. It's free to watch this every Sunday night. If you are not learning, you're not growing. Okay, got it. So anybody else have any other questions about entrepreneurship? Let's see what else we're going to get here. I'm in the fitness industry. How do you make yourself and your business stand out more in the field? JR Escalante, let me ask you a question, JR. Being in the fitness industry, are you a personal trainer? What do you do? Are you more selling it or are you more training? Answer that question and I'll give you my rebuttal on both of them. How do you change your mindset to make you believe your dreams are possible? How do you change your mindset? How to start making money from nothing? Okay, so let's go to that question from Salvador. How do you change your mindset to make you believe your dreams are possible? It's a muscle. I talked about this in Chicago. You got to constantly fantasize your dreams becoming a reality. You got to psych yourself out. You got to almost lie to yourself. And then eventually it becomes a reality. But most people don't do it enough times. Most people don't do it enough times. They do it 1 time or twice and they stop doing it. Ahmed Kiramil, did you publish or self-publish your book? Why? Great question. This one I self-published. The reason why I self-published this one is because the video just came out a few months ago. And when we went to the publishing firm to talk about this book, they said 18 months before they come out with print. I'm not going to wait 18 months for a book like this. Now, the other book that we're working on, I am publishing the book. And that's going to take 18 months. So that my next book that I'm working on, the business book, it is not going to come out till mid-2017 to late 2017. Because nowadays, when you go, the biggest downfall with going through publishers nowadays is it's 18 months. For a book to come out, unless if you have a story that's relevant, like if you were to write a book, the truth behind Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, they're going to want you to, if you have something that's epic, you'll publish it now. But if it's a business books right now are 18 to 36 months of getting it published. What do you think about technology startups and their overvaluation? Juan Antonio Duran. Look, there's 2 things that have the most value right now, data and education. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. One is data. I saw a statistic that showed the White House staff members visited Google headquarters more than any other company, and Google executives visited the White House than any other company. Why is that? Because Google has data over everything. Google is a data company. Now, pay-per-click, they figure out a way to how to make money and all that other stuff. That's great. Some of these companies like Instagram, Twitter, they still haven't figured out a way how to make money. Snapchat's trying to figure out a way how to make money. Are they really going to make money the way they need to make money? No, but they're going to have access to data. And Snapchat's probably going to be a lot better company for marketers than Twitter is. Twitter didn't figure it out, and Twitter played off defense, and they got a little too cocky, and they got completely screwed. They got completely screwed. Alfred McGrabian, I wish you were here with us at the game. It was a story. Yes, it was, Alfred, but you got to first send an invitation, buddy, for somebody to go with you. But I sent a nice text to Steve. I know it was a very emotional moment for Steve to enjoy the game, man. I am certain he enjoyed the game, and it's well-deserved because I know how diehard of a fan he is himself. So if Steve's watching this right now when you guys are at the hotel, Steve, I believe all of those tears were genuine tears of joy. Very, very well deserved because you've been a fan of this guy way before he got into the NBA. And you were the Michael Jordan of our high school, so I know basketball to you is a religion, closest thing to a religion. So, what was the last question? What was the last question that we were going into? So technology startups and what do I think? Okay, data. Yeah, so data is something that people want, and technology is just sexy and exciting. It's like asking this question. It's like asking this question. Let me explain it to you. Do you think young women, will ever start realizing that young men with six-pack and incredible body isn't a man to get together with, instead finding a real man to get together with? No, it's never going to change. Ladies are attracted to good-looking studs, especially when they're younger, 20, 21, 22, 23. They just are. Then when they're 30, 29, 28, then they say, man, I need to find a real man who doesn't just know how to work out at the gym and all he does is, go do what he does with the girls and all this other stuff. No, they say, I need a man. I need a man that's going to give me security, protect me, all this other stuff. That's what I'm going to be looking forward to. Investors do the same thing. I remember one time I was invited to an event in Gibson Island, Baltimore, where it was like 20, 30 people at this dinner, and Prince Edward was there, and I was sitting at a main table, and it was at one of the top American funds, money manager's house, 17,000 square foot house at Gibson Island. If you know where Gibson Island is, it's just a crazy place is what it is. And I was with NEA. NEA is a major venture capital company who I just invested into Groupon. And that's when Groupon was just God. Everybody wanted to be part of Groupon and own a piece of Groupon. Everybody wanted to do that with Groupon, right? And everyone knew Groupon was going to flop. It just made sense that Groupon was going to flop because it was all a percentage thing. Everyone knew Groupon was going to flop. But it was still exciting. It was absolutely exciting. What ended up happening? People invested money into it. The early timers made money. Now Groupon, nobody even wants to touch Groupon. And at one point, Groupon got an offer to be bought for $6 billion, and they said no to it. Dumbest mistake they made. They should have been sold. So what's the point? It ain't never going away. That's gonna be the exciting part, unless the technology advances and virtual reality and all these other crazy things that we're gonna keep seeing and seeing. But technology is always exciting. I recommend but you gotta have a luck of the draw. You know how they say, how did you make your video go viral and get 28 million views when you got 20 million views in the first week? How do you do that? Did you spend a lot of money? I spent this much money on a video that got 30 million views. This much money. So how happened? I spent this much money advertising that video. So how did it happen? It's called luck. It's luck. I mean, you realize how many great videos have been made that haven't gone viral? It's absolutely luck. It's the first feel like what happens on a tipping point where you say, oh shoot, crazy things are about to take place. That's exactly what happened with, with a lot of these companies. So one is you could create a great startup and a great product, but if you don't have the luck of the draw right off the bat, it flops. One of my friends created a very interesting website for nightlife and all this other stuff, but he didn't have the immediate attraction that just takes off immediately. It didn't happen. And so it didn't take place. That doesn't mean his product wasn't a good product. I know his product was a phenomenal product, but you need the luck of the draw sometimes for it to go viral. So why am I saying this to you? Because my suggestion is find an industry that is not requiring luck and drive that industry with measurable areas that you can control. And then all of a sudden you start seeing great things happen to you. There's a lot of great technology websites that come out and apps that come out that completely flop, that are incredible apps that completely flop. But I know one thing, if you go out there in the insurance, financial, real estate, some of these industries, and you keep playing the game, it is a predictable number of getting results, is what my suggestion would be to you. All right, let me see. Some of the questions came back. By any chance, do you have Puerto Rico on your schedule? I do. We handled it this last week. No life insurance company wants to touch Puerto Rico, except for a handful of them. We contacted 7 of them. They all said no to Puerto Rico. And one of them said yes, Lincoln Financial Group. And we're working on a few others right now. So hang tight for that one. Alan Figueroa, although we would love to be in Puerto Rico yesterday, because I love the Puerto Rican people. We have a big Puerto Rican community in our company. Patrick Carson, Energy Management. How do you maintain a high level of energy throughout the day and the week? My God, we talked about this last night in Chicago and Friday night in Chicago. Here's the way to explain it to you, Patrick, and maybe this will make sense. And Patrick, it won't have anything to do with you because you're actually in shape. So it's not a body problem that you can have, but many people do. So let's take this for an example. Okay. Matter of fact, let me just make it even simpler. Let's take this glass here, for example. Okay. How much is this glass designed to carry? So think about this. How much is this glass designed to carry? Is it designed to carry, let's just say 8 ounces of water? No problem. Let's say 8 ounces of water. Perfect. What would happen if I put a 10-pound dumbbell on top of this? What would happen to this glass? It would shatter. It would break. Pat, where are you going with this? Let me explain to you where I'm going with this. Your body, your physique, whatever your body is, what is the amount of weight your body is supposed to carry? Let me get a little bit more specific. If you're 6'1" and your body is set up in a way where the weight is supposed to be 195 and you're 240, you're carrying 45 additional pounds. So this is what it feels like. That's like me putting 45 pounds on top of this glass. Not only is it going to break, it's going to be harder to pick up. When you have additional weight on your frame, it's harder to get up in the morning. So if your body's supposed to be 145, but you weigh 195, that's like waking up with a 50-pound dumbbell on your body. It's absolutely difficult for people to do. So the first thing you got to do is you got to lose weight and get back to what your figure can handle. If your body is supposed to carry 128 pounds, go to 128. At least get close to it and don't be more than 5% above that weight, which means what? If it's 128, 5% is 7 pounds, don't be more than 135. If it's 190, don't be more than 205, right? I mean, have a certain number that you got to be at. The lower it is, the better it is for you. So keep that part in mind. That's one area. The other thing is what you feed your body. I mean, it's simple as that. You know, it's how much Coke do you drink? How much soda do you drink? How much sweets do you put in your body? How late do you eat? What do you put in your body? I'm Middle Eastern, so we eat a lot of oily food, and oily food is not good for you. Oily food is just not good for you, period. It's not good for you, right? So, you know, eating oily food, how much do you eat fast food? That just makes you slower and lethargic, and do you take your vitamins? So all of that is part of energy management. And then one thing about sleep you got to realize is there's 2 things you don't want to do with sleep. One, we get tired when we get what? Very little sleep, or we get too much sleep. Think about that. People are lazy when they get too much sleep. When you get too much sleep, your body hasn't started moving, so it moves slower. When you get too little sleep, you're tired. You need to get the right amount of sleep. To me, 6 hours is good. Now I can do 4. This last couple months, I'm averaging 4 hours, 3.5 hours. I'm fine with that. My body can handle it. But 6 is a good number for me. You need to know your weight. You need to know your hours and work on that, and then get a little bit more diligent about your weight and intake and all that stuff, and then you'll see progress taking place. Patrick, I've watched your videos for a few months now. I've talked all your teaching advice since then, and my life has changed for the best. I'm a 19-year-old apprentice chef. I have goals and dreams. I'm only on 10 years. What is the best advice you can give me to accelerate my career learning-wise? Chef, man, thankfully I've started young and I've learned to surpass my peers. I assist my parents with a mortgage, but I have bad habits of spending for items that you don't use. Our family's in debt, but I keep moving forward. Well, I strive to be a self-millionaire one day. Great. You know, I'll tell you one thing. Being a chef, I'm going to say something that, you know, look, here's the reality part of it. The reality part of it is the greatest chefs in the world are not the ones we see on TV. They're good, but they're better marketers than the greatest chefs in the world. Because typically the greatest chefs in the world, they're so private with their trade and it's so religious to them that they don't, their personalities is an annoying personality that they don't do well marketing themselves. But I would tell you a big part of your question, if I'm you, it's purely marketing. Start a YouTube channel, put a video once every other day, put a video twice a week about certain things that you do and do basics. Don't get into the real secrets of what you do, but have some basics that you can teach and go put 100 episodes out there. Look what'll happen. Create a blog, write a blog, do something that markets yourself as a chef. Now, the other part is one thing about chefs is they're not good with money. Almost everybody's not good with money who is not in the financial industry, because the benefit of being in the financial industry is you'll learn what to do with your finances. And if you don't learn what to do with your finances, you're going to mess up a lot with your money all the time. And so just create good habits with money, man. Keep feeding your mind with money and all those sorts of things. But as a chef, get a paper and pen out and create a marketing plan for yourself on how you can start branding yourself. What a nickname, what a name, what are you known for, what is your specialty, what are you going to do, and then go dominate that sector. That's all you got to do. And it'll typically take 2 to 4 years. Simple as that. Don't be discouraged when it's only 7 views, 15 views. I first started doing videos, man, nobody would watch my videos. And I even had some friends and family would say, why are you even putting videos up? So, it was consistency, word got out, people liked the content, and eventually they said this is the best channel on YouTube for entrepreneurship. So many other guys on YouTube motivate only, but you actually give content on how to do certain things and and it's, so now I'm known as the #1 how-to guy and entrepreneur on the YouTube channel all around the world, and have people follow me from 200 plus countries, and I get the strangest requests privately, and it's been what it is, but it wasn't like that 5 years ago. That'd be my suggestion to you. I'll do one more question here and I'll wrap it up. Let's see who's got a very, very good question. I'm not sure. Patrick, what's the most dependent book in your library that helped you take you to the next level, shelf transform? I like that one. I have started a Happy Father's Day. By the way, Happy Father's Day to everybody as well. Thank you so much, Joe. Many of you have sent me the kindest message about Father's Day. I'm still trying to find what parents, according to see which book should recommend. Tell me the best advice. 16 year old, way to advertise. How do you manage your sleep? I started a custom bike business for marketing companies' products. I stay late each night. My business work a full-time job as well. Always tired because I work my butt off to reach my goal. Sleep management is the toughest. Tim, how many hours of sleep you get per night? Tell me how many hours of sleep you get per night. That's what I want to know. And then tell me how tall you are and how much you weigh. Okay? How many hours of sleep you get per night, and then tell me how tall you are and how much you weigh. Al Becerra, you can go on my website, patrickbaydavid.com. I have my top 100 list of favorite books on my website. You can find it there. You're 5 to 6 hours, okay? And what do you weigh, Tim? How tall are you and what do you weigh? Thank you so much for that, Patrick. You got it. 5'10", 165. That's actually a good weight. Tim, do you exercise? Let me know if you exercise. Environmental issues. Yeah, environmental issues is also part of it as well, Laser. I mean, if I really had to get into it, it'd be a very, very deep conversation, but I'm trying to keep it very much of a general one. But Laser, you're right about that as well. Laser Vuka. So Tim, 5 to 6 hours. I ask you about your diet. Tell me how your diet is. 5'10", 165. You, yes, riding bikes, but could do more. Okay, good. So you are actively, and how old are you? How old are you? What makes someone separate himself from the crowd? PPD, what makes someone separate themselves from the crowd? Being themselves and actually saying things what not everybody else is saying. If you sound like everybody else, you're just another person. You got to be able to have the guts to say some things that the other guys are not saying. 38 years old. Tim, you're at that age, you're at that age where that starts happening and you got to watch your body intake and what you're eating. Use a day a week to refuel. Once a week, use to refuel. And what do I mean by once a week? Figure out a way to refuel. Have a day where you refuel yourself. But at the end of the day, man, one of the things that separates the guys that build a big empire and the ones that don't, the ones that build a big empire have an absolute, out of control energy that the rest don't have. And, you get tested and it becomes eventually natural. And then you're able to pull it off and you start winning. But you know, the energy part is very, 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 very critical. 5 to 6 hours is actually a good amount of sleep. If you're getting 6 hours a night, is a good amount of sleep you're getting. When you get up, maybe have some body movements you're doing right off the bat. Do some push-ups and sit-ups right when you get out of the house. Have some good breakfast. Maybe you're not having good breakfast, so it doesn't kickstart your day early. Maybe you're eating late after 6 o'clock. I would recommend you hiring a nutritionist and have them put you on a plan for diet and what you're eating, because you're 38, I'm 37. So at our age, it becomes interesting because you're close enough to the 45 and you're still close enough to 30, right in the middle, but it's time to get serious about your health. We're still young, but it's time to get serious about your health. So I would recommend you hiring a nutritionist and see what they tell you. And then have a natural high motivation drive, but I feel like need more rest. Tim, you may need more rest, but you're in the startup mode, man. I mean, what do you want to do? You're not going to get both. So, you know, get a nutritionist, work on your diet, figure out a way to improve that area. And then at the same time, know that, I mean, I got a newborn baby. She's 2.5 weeks old. You think I'm getting sleep? No. Every 2 hours I'm up at night. I don't get more than 2 hours of straight sleep. Why? Because that's what newborn babies do. So I'm not getting sleep. I have to get up. So I have to get up. That's what happens. So I can't sit here and constantly expect for me to have all the sleep I want. And I still can do it. People in biblical times, they don't live on a lot of sleep, and they slept on the freaking floor, and there was crap everywhere, and it rained, they were wet, and believe me, they didn't get sleep. So sometimes the media makes us believe that we need a lot more sleep and a lot more perfect bed and rest and all this other stuff that's just publicized by pure marketing and propaganda type of crap that we buy into. And, you know, I would tell you that you kind of got to toughen up and go out there and make it happen. With that being said, I know it's probably not the answer you want to hear, but you're more capable than you think you are. Your body can handle a lot more than you think it can. The worst thing happens when it doesn't. You know what happens? You don't die. You simply get hospitalized for being super exhausted. It's happened to me so many times in my career. One time, I'm in Jacksonville, and I'm giving a talk in front of an audience. I'm about to collapse and fall. I go downstairs. They take me straight to the emergency room, and they put 2 IVs, and they say, you're absolutely exhausted. I was dehydrated. My body sucked the 2 bags of IV within 5 minutes. And I was working very hard. I was speaking in 16 cities in 28 days and driving in an RV with 6 other people in the heat. And we were in Jacksonville. It was hot. And, you know, it happened. Another time I was hospitalized on a 12-city tour on a flight. I came back at 2:30 in the middle of the night. They took me to the hospital. I couldn't breathe. And it was simply, what do you call it? Too much exhaustion as well. They put me on a couple IVs and then I was good. Sometimes people will push the envelope a little too much, and that's why you are who you are, man. So don't worry about it. I'd rather have an opportunity to make history with my life and set an example for my kids to know that daddy gave everything they had to win big, and they followed the same footsteps. With that being said, gang, what company would you recommend for a beginner? I want to invest little by little for a company way up. As far as what goes, Phillips, ask me that question in private because I don't know what your question is all about. He is 37, Cynthia. Okay, there you go. You got my age. I wake up 3 a.m. every morning, Monday through Sunday. When you're passionate about something, you work your ass off and just go out there and get it done. Okay, good. I think that's what also Tim is doing. Tim just needed a couple other insight. He also sounds like he's a hardworking guy. Shahid asked me, do I ever come to Miami? I was supposed to be in Miami today. I was supposed to be in Miami yesterday. But I didn't go to Miami, so I was supposed to be in Miami yesterday. Miami is one of my favorite cities. I was in Chicago, got back from Chicago very late last night, early this morning. Today was Father's Day. My wife and I spent some time together with the kids, and it was kind of overdue for us to spend some time. But Miami is one of my favorite cities. I'm always in Miami. Miami's a place I love. I'll go to Miami for no reason because Miami's alive. It's an alive place. So Shahid, yes, the answer is yes. Hey, I'll wrap it up. I just want to tell you guys a couple things. So remember, for those of you guys who constantly send me a message and say, I'll pay you $2,000 for a 30-minute mentoring call. I'll pay you $1,000. I've said no to every single one of them because it's just not my world. I'm in the financial industry. But for some of you guys that do want a mentoring call, I'll remind you again, what I'm announcing next Sunday is for those who buy 10 copies of this book. You can give away 9 and you keep one of yourself and read it. Buy 10 copies of this book. Go on Amazon and post a review, and then send proof of posting a review and buying the 10 copies on marketing at patrickbaydavid.com, marketing at patrickbaydavid.com. And then from there, next Sunday, same time here, next Sunday on this show, I'll be announcing 2 winners. And those 2 winners are going to get a private phone call with me, mentoring call, that will get on the phone. Whatever business you're a part of, we'll get on the phone together. You don't have to pay me nothing. You bought the books. I'll do a couple names I'll pull, and then we'll have the mentoring calls. But you guys, if you haven't done it yet, go buy the books. Go buy the books on Amazon. I put the link up once again. I'll put it up for you guys to go get it if you haven't already. And for those of you guys that have already bought it, read it, do me a favor and post a review as well on Amazon. I will kindly appreciate it for you guys that have bought the book. It is a book strictly for entrepreneurs, for the life of an entrepreneur. And many of you have a lot of friends that are also entrepreneurs and involved in entrepreneurship. Tag them, encourage them to read the book as well. It's a very simple book, intentionally a simple book, because a lot of times new entrepreneurs that get involved in business, they get overwhelmed with so many different things that they just need simply the mindsets on what they need to make it as a business owner. Anyways, hey, with that being said, stay tuned for a lot of cool episodes that are going out this week. One of the episodes that's going out on Tuesday night will be 9 love languages of an entrepreneur. I love that video. I can't wait for you guys to see the video and post the questions on that video called 9 love languages of an entrepreneur. With that being said, everybody, happy Father's Day. Congratulations to all the crazy Cavs fans who have put up with so much criticism of LeBron James all these years. Celebrate it tonight. Have fun. And have a rocking week to all the entrepreneurs. Go sell a ton this week. Make a ton of calls. Have a killer week for yourself. Take care, everybody. Good night. Love ya. Bye-bye.